Hello, hi, how do you do? Welcome back to another video. You may have heard of the webtoon, now graphic novel, Lore Olympus. This video has nothing to do with that. I have never read that. I don't intend to read it. Convince me to read it. I want someone to convince me to read it. I look at it and I have no desire to read it. Anyways, I only bring it up because it's the most popular Persephone and Hades modern retelling that I can think of. And we're talking about Persephone and Hades today. Theirs is a tragic story. I mean, it's tragic in the beginning, but no, I guess it could be tragic all the way through. Whether it's got a tragic ending really depends on if you believe that Persephone loved Hades or not. That's what we're gonna get into today. Persephone has a sad little story. She's the daughter of Zeus, the big cheese of Olympus, and Demeter, the goddess of the harvest. Even though Persephone has this really divine lineage, she's not considered an Olympian. She is, however, considered very beautiful. There seems to be an obsession with her ankles. Her ankles are mentioned 3 times in the Homeric hymn to Demeter, which is 3 times more than I felt was necessary, honestly. Anyways, other than the ankle thing, she was beautiful, she was the goddess of spring. There are a couple different variations of her story. In the Homeric hymn to Demeter, Persephone was in a meadow, unassumingly picking flowers with the daughters of Oceanus. Really, the culprit here was a narcissus, it's a daffodil. Persephone saw a daffodil and she wanted it. Imagine being kidnapped, then chained to Hades, the god and the place, for 1/3 of the year, for the rest of your life, for a daffodil. Did she even get the daffodil? In her defense, the Narcissus was grown by Gaia specifically to be a lure for Persephone. According to the plans of Zeus, in which Gaia was doing a favor for Hades, the guy was lonely. That's sort of his main motive in the crime, which I get it. It's not easy overseeing Judgment of the Dead 24/7. Let me paint you a picture. Hades' permanent place of residence for you. Imagine like a shadow world. You've got a couple of rivers when you arrive. This sounds nice already, you know, location, location, location. While a normal river might seem like an asset in real estate, the aforementioned rivers are in fact Acheron and Cocytus, the River of Woe and the River of Lamentation, respectively. It does sound off-putting. That said, you do have a ferryman who, for the cost of only 1 obol, will ferry you straight across to the gates of Hades. Now here, the news does get a little better for Hades and those in the underworld. At the gates stands Cerberus, the goodest boy, a 3-headed dragon-tailed hound. And the good news, he will let you in. He just won't let you out. After that, there are 3 judges, Rhadamanthus, Aeacus, and Minos, who judge your soul. There are 3 more rivers in Hades: the River Styx, the River of the Unbreakable Oath, Phlegethon, the River of Fire, and Lethe, the River of Forgetfulness. Other than that, there's a ton of gates. It's very crowded. There are meadows of asphodel, which is a flower that grows in the Elysian fields, where you'll go if you've been a good human. But there's also vast areas of freezing wastelands. All I'm trying to say is you could see how it might be a little lonely. Hades had no equal there. I mean, he had 3 judges, but like, it's kind of like their manager. That makes it awkward. I'm not saying Hades didn't do a lot of work, but he's kind of outsourced a lot of other responsibilities to other people and a dog. So it might get a little boring. I'm not defending him, I'm just saying I understand why he did it. Back to the story, Persephone goes for the flower, just goes for it, goes for the Narcissus. The earth opens underneath of her. And lo and behold, Lord Hades rides up out of the ground on a golden chariot drawn by immortal horses. You can't tell me this wasn't a choice. You know that was a statement. That was to impress. You know he called Charon into the room. Today's the fucking day, Charon. What do I wear?
Oh. That's it, I'm not going.
Anyways, he busts out of the earth's crust, snatches her, rides back down. She cries out for her father. Does he hear it? No, fuck no. 3 people hear her. Hecate, with the splendid headband. What does that mean? Please tell me what it means. Helios hears her. And her mother, Demeter, hears her. Demeter starts tearing around the earth looking for her daughter. No one will tell her what happened to Persephone. Hecate comes and pairs up with her and they go find Helios. Helios is the one person willing to tell them the truth. He says it's Zeus, which when is it not Zeus's fault? Zeus gave Persephone away to Hades, so in ancient Greek context, did he really kidnap her? I'm gonna skip past what Demeter does during this time because it has no relevance to the plot at all. It involves lighting a baby on fire. She's in such grief that being the goddess of crops and the harvest. There is no harvest. In terms of harvest, we have no harvest. People die, obviously, a year without crops. You're dead. Zeus is like, he looks over party heaven, aka Olympus. He takes his glasses off. Zeus is like, oh shit, I fucked up. Hermes, go fix your fucking mess. Zeus tells Hermes to tell Hades to tell Persephone to come back. Hades is like, okay. And something good and something bad happens here. The good thing, Hades makes sure to tell Persephone how much he loves her. He doesn't say it directly. He says that he's gonna be a good husband, which is more than any of the Greek goddesses can say of their husbands, and that she will be queen of everything that lives and moves. Everyone who displeases her will face punishment. Did he have to do that? No, he did not. He did not have to say any of that, but he did. That said, he does make her eat a single seed from a pomegranate so she cannot leave the underworld. Persephone leaves and goes to meet her mother. Zeus sends his mom Rhea to basically break the news to Demeter that she will lose Persephone for 1/3 of the year. And during this part, the flowers and plants would die, and that's where we get our seasons. I wrapped it up pretty quickly there, but that's the origin story of Persephone and Hades' relationship. Did Persephone love Hades after everything he put her through? Yes and no. We know that she did not love him at first. We see her cry multiple times and then be very happy when she's allowed to see her mother. And she tells her mother that Hades took her very much against her will. This sounds nothing like love. When all of this happened, confusion and fear were probably her initial reaction. How do you react? What do you think when Hades bursts up out of the earth riding a golden chariot and then immediately takes you down to the underworld? I'm scared. I have a couple questions. I wouldn't expect her initial reaction to be love. As for later on in her marriage, her feelings are more difficult to decipher. There are no primary sources that tell us about her feelings for Hades or her role as queen of the underworld. I think we all want to believe that Persephone eventually came around to love Hades. I mean, they never cheated on each other, except for that whole Adonis thing, which that's kind of sketchy, so I'm not gonna count it. Also, I saw someone make the argument that Hades only kidnapped her because he was antisocial and didn't know how to court a woman. That's now my canon. There are so many retellings, and this continues to be a popular story because we want to believe they loved each other. There's the argument that every time Hades started to look at another woman or be seduced by another woman, Persephone stepped in. I mean, she turned a nymph into a mint leaf for trying to seduce Hades. Also, Persephone's core personality doesn't seem like the type to stay miserable and hold a grudge. She was the goddess of spring and flowers. Plant life resembles adaptability. Flowers don't sit around crying for more sunlight, they make the best with what they're given. I like to think Persephone learned to make the best of her new life and flourish in it. That involves learning to love Hades, which I think is very possible because he's probably the least bad of all the gods, and making a damn good queen of the dead. That concludes my little bout of rambling. What do you think? Did Persephone love Hades? Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Have a good life. Bye. What do you think? Did Persephone love Did Persephone love Heffany? What the fuck?